That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us. I feel like this conversation's already gotten started because you came in with a bag.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in my refrigerator.
Yep.
So this already is starting off to be one of my favorite episodes.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's get. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
I feel like this conversation's already gotten started because you came in with a bag.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in my refrigerator.
Yep.
So this already is starting off to be one of my favorite episodes.
All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's get to it. So one of the things that I've discovered recently and have been experimenting with is non-alcoholic beer.
Really?
Yeah. Do you like beer?
I do like beer.
And what I read an article and I was surprised, and this is what don't sound right, is that the market for non-alcoholic beer is really expanding. It's really taking off. A lot of the major brands are making their own version of the non-alcoholic beer. In fact, I was at a cookout. And me and this other guy, we were in charge of bringing the beer. Mm-hmm. And he really likes Stella Artois. Mm-hmm. All right. And I like Stella. Mm-hmm. And so we went to the grocery store to get some Stella. Mm-hmm. And we weren't paying attention. Mm-hmm. And we got the non-alcoholic version. Mm-hmm. And we didn't realize that. Mm-hmm. When did we realize that? We didn't realize that until we saw another guy who also mistakenly brought Stella non-alcoholic. Yeah. And we started giving a hard time. Like, what'd you do that for? Right. But then we realized, wait, that strangely looks like the package we brought. And we looked at ours, and it was non-alcoholic. Huh. And we already had one. Huh. And I was thinking to myself, oh, this tastes really, really good. Huh. More, yeah. I mean, and then it tastes like Stella. Stella tastes really good. I'm like, no, man, this tastes really good. And then I realized not alcoholic. And what don't sound right is that this is really gaining popularity. Oh, yeah. And you kind of don't realize that it's non-alcoholic, at least on the first beer. Mm-hmm. And then why are we always drinking this during the day?
Just as a drink.
Just as a drink.
Because that's what it is now. There's no alcohol. It's just.
So my question is to you is, can you tell the difference? Can you discern the difference?
Oh, no. If you have, I think maybe if you had some kind of cheap non-alcoholic beer, but a friend of mine introduced me to, it was a German non-alcoholic beer, and it tasted like beer. It just didn't have any alcohol in it.
Cecil?
Yeah. You got two for me to taste?
Let's have you taste them. So I've got to do a live taste test.
This is what I was afraid you were going to.
What's that?
Is I sent you that pineapple flavored Pepsi.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That sounds really good to me.
Really?
It sounds awesome.
I can't hardly stand to think about drinking a Pepsi, much less a pineapple. Oh,
it would be delicious.
Yeah, no. So that's what I was afraid of.
Now if anyone wants to go back, it's episode 79, That Don't Taste Right, where we get into different alternative flavors of common products. So one of them was the Pepsi that was flavored as the Peeps marshmallows. Yeah, and then you used to me that on the pineapple. But I'm not doing that to you. I wish you would do it to me because it sounds delicious. Okay, so here we go, Cecil.
Yes. Right.
Here.
These are two different ones?
These are two different ones.
Does one have alcohol?
One is not alcoholic. One is alcoholic. And I'm not going to tell you which one.
Is it the same brand?
It's not the same brand. Okay. It's not the same brand.
I'm tasting the first.
Taste the first one.
That tastes like, I'm going to say that this is the alcoholic beer.
You have to drink it.
I'll do both of them. But
yeah.
I'm going to go.
This first one you think is
non-alcoholic. It tastes like a beer.
Duh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got that one.
All right.
Do I have to tell you what brand they are?
Tell you what. If you think you can. I mean, I know you were a bourbon steward. I didn't know you were a...
Oh, man, I can't tell the difference between these.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I would have said the first one until I drank the second one. Are these both at least the same type of beers? Are they both like pale ales or?
Oh yeah. They're American ales.
Okay, they're both American ales.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to say we'll call the one on my right Glass A, and the other one Glass B.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to say Glass B is a non-alcoholic.
Okay. That is Michelob Ultra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, here's the.
It's out. It's the
That's alcohol.
It's the 4% alcohol.
4%.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other one is
Athletic. It's the new brand Athletic.
really.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
No alcohol.
See, I'm actually at a disadvantage because I have never had anything Michelob.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah. So this is like
Have you had Bud Light?
I maybe like
You can admit it.
maybe have. I don't think I have.
All right. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know that I've drank any like popular American beer.
Okay. Well, I wanted to get the Michelob Ultra. That is the
So both American.
that is actually more popular now than Bud Light.
Yeah. Yeah. So Michelob. Yeah, I would not. So I guessed the wrong one, right?
You guessed the wrong one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that astonishing though?
It's astonishing. The one I had that was the German beer. You couldn't tell the difference.
Right.
Yeah, you could not. It tasted just like a regular beer.
So I was at lunch the other day at a restaurant, and I got me a non-alcoholic beer for lunch.
Really? Did
Yeah.
anybody say anything?
People looked at me sideways.
Did they?
Yeah, a couple of people looked at me sideways, but
Did you feel like you had to explain yourself?
I didn't. Because I mean, it's
come up on a review.
That's right. I don't know.
In this instance, I now realize why people have said everything that they've said about Michelob, Miller, Budweiser.
Yeah, what's that?
It's all terrible.
I would say, but I mean, what do you think about this Athletic beer?
That flavor is good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's tasty. And this is an ale. They make an IPA. It's even better.
Yeah,
but I still think Stella is better than that one.
Yeah,
the Stella now.
Yeah, this is a little light. If you want a heavier beer, this is pretty light beer.
Right.
Yeah. No, I've heard that people are really moving away from drinking alcohol in social situations, and not just non-alcoholic beers, but non-alcoholic cocktails are on the rise too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't have
being able to make.
So how do you? Yeah, so I mean, I guess a lot of cocktails are just sweet, right?
Yeah.
They're just, but something like a Manhattan or an old fashioned where you have that. There's definitely a smoky bourbon.
Yeah.
How do you get around that? Maybe they don't. Maybe that.
Know that,
maybe don't have a version of that one.
Yeah, probably you can only do the sweet tasting drinks.
So here's another thing that don't sound right about the Athletic. I got carded for that.
You got carded?
I got carded for that.
For a non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah, I got carded. They said I need to see your ID.
Really?
What are you talking about? First, don't I look 21?
Right.
Second of all, it's not alcoholic.
Right. You're not buying anything illegal.
Exactly.
Or not illegal, but that's controlled.
So I needed to look up something.
So my question is how do you, so beer is a fermented product.
Yeah. Yeah.
So fermentation creates alcohol, correct?
Tell me a little more.
That's as much as I know.
Oh, come on now. I was going to ask you what makes the alcohol in the beer?
So yeast converts the sugar into mash.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's not called mash in beer. It's called wort.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so yeast converts the wort, the sugar in it, to alcohol and something else.
Okay,
You get alcohol.
Oh, and carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide and water. Right?
Yeah. Right.
And so that's the extent.
So the way there's several different ways you can do it.
Okay.
The easiest way, and I think I've had this version, is just water it down. You just add water until you get your alcohol level right.
But doesn't that...
And it tastes like watered down beer. It literally tastes like watered down beer. So that's one way to do it.
Huh.
In order to get it, and a non-alcoholic, I'm doing air quotes for those. Right. So if we don't have the video yet, but I wanted to see what percentage this was, because there is a percentage to it. It's less than 0.5%. So that's the limit. Is 0.5 or low, or less than 0.5. Yeah. Well, there's several ways to do it, but one way is just to water it down. And non-alcoholic beer really isn't necessarily 100% alcohol free. It's the number is less than 0.05%. Oh no, 0.5%.
Right. You get more alcohol in most medications.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So 0.5%. And then some states they draw the line at 0.5%. So 0.5% and above, it's considered an alcoholic beverage, and you have to be 21. Okay. And then but then it goes, if it goes underneath 0.5%, 5%. It's not alcoholic. Some states draw the line at 0.5, or actually anything above 0.5. A 0.5 would be considered non-alcoholic in some states. So, you could get carded for buying this because it's right at 0.5, and 0.5 is below 0.5 is the line. 0.5 and above is considered alcohol. So that's why you would get carded on this. But anyway, the way you do it is you can either water it down, which I've had that. I'm pretty sure I've had one of those. It just tasted them like water. The other way they do it is they pass it through a membrane. And what goes through the membrane is the alcohol and some water, and it leaves behind this syrup. And that's kind of has all the flavor to it.
Right.
But then you take that water and your alcohol, you can pull the alcohol off your water.
Right.
And then you add that water, which still have some flavor to it. You add that back to the syrup, and then you carbonate it. Because most beers today, they actually add carbonation.
Right. Yeah, there's some carbonation to it. Yeah.
I don't know
which normally happens from the fermentation.
Yeah, but it's very low.
Right.
It's very low compared to what we're used to. These are highly carbonated.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
Because when I was making, go ahead.
The Old Salem, it was probably about 10 years ago. I had 5. It's probably 15 years ago. I think it was maybe one of the anniversaries of Old Salem. They came across a recipe for mead that they used to make in Old Salem. And so
what's mead?
Mead is, I guess it's just another form of beer.
I think so. Is it honey based? I almost want to say it's a honey based.
Maybe so.
Right.
But they came across this recipe, and so the guys at Small Batch Brewery got it. They let them take it, and they made a version of it.
Was it good?
It was good. The only difference is they added carbonation to it because it wouldn't have been as carbonated as it made of it, and it would have been warm, right?
So I did some fermentation with the kombucha, which is tea.
I remember you talking about kombucha.
This is during COVID.
So what percentage is kombucha?
It's under 0.5.
Okay.
It's not considered alcoholic. But
it has a little...
It's got carbonation to it.
It does.
In fact, you can, if you're not careful, when you cap it, it'll pop. It pop.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so it's got a little carbonation to it, which is a byproduct of the fermentation. But I have a question for you about this now. It's like Michelob Ultra. Is it Ultra because of the calories or because it's low alcohol?
I think it's
both.
I don't think it's low alcohol. I think it's calories.
Calories.
I think it's a light. I think it's a light beer. Okay. Let's go look at it. I'll get the can.
So it's just less calories than a normal beer.
Well, let's get the can. So this is 4.3%. So it's not an low alcohol. It's it's straight up alcohol, but
it is.
And it says the calories about 95. And I feel like a normal beer is about 140 calories. So
normal beer is 140.
Is that right?
You're correct.
Okay. So it's light, but I mean, it's not as light as I thought it would be.
The odd thing is you're holding in your hand a Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
It's a 25 ounce.
25 ouncer.
Is that one serving?
Actually, no, it says 12 ounces is a serving. So this is
2 servings.
This is 2.
So a serving is 95 ounces.
A serving
is 95 calories. What was the calorie count?
Oh yeah, it's 95 for 12 ounces.
All right. So actually that can is twice that.
Yeah. So it's more than a single service of a regular beer.
That's borderline false advertising.
That's right.
I mean, honestly, because whoever picks up a can of any drink and thinks that it's more than a single serving.
Yeah, right. Everyone's going to think this is a single serving, but it's not.
Right. So basically you end up drinking more calories than you normally would in a regular beer if you drink that. And
isn't that a genius?
And whoever gets that is going to drink the whole thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't close this up.
You're not going to close it up and you're not going to share it.
And I'm going to throw it away.
It's pretty bad. I now understand so much. So I didn't drink anything until after I was 21 years old.
Right, me either.
Yeah, and I was, first time I drank any beer with those friends, had one beer. But I really have mainly drank like microbrews and local stuff my entire...
Your beer drinking career?
I've never drank like Bud Light, any of that stuff until that thing right there.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think I've had like one... What was the king of beers?
Budweiser.
No, I'm sorry. What's the one? Miller High Life. I've had one Miller High Life.
I almost bought that. But it was only in 6-packs. I didn't want 6-packs.
I kind of drank that one as a joke. I didn't even mean, I mean, it wasn't even for enjoyment. I was just like, I wonder what this stuff tastes like.
But yeah, I just thought that it was interesting that, this is something you can just drink. This is sitting at 45 calories for a 12 ounce.
Right. No alcohol.
No alcohol. If you like the taste of beer, this'll do the trick.
Well, this really is what it comes down to, right? Is like, so people, if you hear somebody talking about, oh, I drink decaf, they're like, why? That's the first question.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Why do you drink decaf coffee?
Because I like the flavor of coffee.
Right.
I like
because the flavor of coffee. But most people are saying, well, I drink it for the caffeine.
Right.
Why would you ever drink decaffeinated coffee?
Right.
So the same question happens when you tell somebody that you're drinking a non-alcoholic beer. Is there, why are you doing that?
Yeah. I had that question from my mom.
Yeah.
I've got a 12 pack of this in my cooler. And she goes, why are you drinking that? Is something wrong?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I kind of,
yeah.
A beer kind of makes me sleepy after about 45 minutes. And
does it?
Yeah, it kind of does. So if I drink a beer with dinner, and about 45 minutes afterwards, I'm kind of getting sleepy. And I'd rather be awake.
And so, that's the reason people drink it. It's, so there's no alcohol in it, and you either don't get sleepy or you're driving or
perfect for driving.
Or you like the taste of beer, but you don't want to have the side effects of alcohol.
Here's the question.
Yeah.
Do you get in trouble for having an open one of these while driving?
I mean, to me, that's like having a Pepsi or anything else, right?
But people are going to look at you sideways.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I would want.
In fact, if I had this in a clear travel mug, right?
Right.
People look at it. Is that beer?
They think you're drinking beer. Yeah, I mean, could you drink it at work?
Well, that's a good question. I've kind of wondered about that.
Yeah.
I think people look at you sideways.
I would. Yeah.
Could you?
I wouldn't do it in my.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
In my setting.
I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in my setting. But if you're working an office job, I mean, it's just like if you're drinking a Mountain Dew, what's the difference? Right. In fact, there's probably more effect from a 20-ounce Mountain Dew than there is from that 12-ounce non-alcoholic.
Probably has some different effects on you.
I guarantee there is. The amount of caffeine that's in it.
And this amount of sugar.
Right.
I mean, it makes you think sharper.
The same thing. If you drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day, have you done anything different?
Right.
Than drinking a non-alcoholic beer?
Yeah. All of this is just fascinating. The interesting dilemmas that you approach because of the stigma around beer.
Right. The stigma around it. Yeah. Yeah. I think most places would probably say you couldn't do it.
Right.
Just for the way it looks, especially if you're customer facing.
Exactly. Yep.
But the odd thing was, if you were with a company and you were out and it was after 6 and you did the same thing, nobody would say anything about it.
Right. In fact, if you had now alcohol, what do you do that for?
Yeah. Yeah. It actually becomes more of a problem if it's not alcohol. Yeah. So, yeah, that's odd. The time of the day, where you're at, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing as if you were drinking a soft drink. I'm more fascinated by that milk can.
You want some more?
No. Good. But
let me taste it. I don't think I've tasted this.
The fact that they advertise it as a light beer and they package it in something that's twice as big. That's like having a potato chip with less calories in it, but they just give you
a bigger bag. That's right. That's exactly what that is. That's a big old beer too. Look at that thing, 25 ounce.
I mean, I've had that, like if you buy an Arizona tea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the size of an Arizona tea.
It is. That is an Arizona.
But I think Arizona tea is 2 servings.
And one of the things that you notice too is the can is a bigger diameter than the 12 ounce can. See, it's a bigger diameter and it's taller. It's
crazy.
Right? Yeah. That's a lot of aluminum.
It's funny just how much stuff we drink. Like, I don't remember drinking this much fluid as a kid. Like you would go, I think we talked about this before. At school, you would get in line at the water fountain.
Yeah.
And the teacher would let you drink for 2 or 3 seconds. Then the next person,
get a move on.
Yeah. But we didn't have water bottles with us.
No.
And now, we went from drinking a can of Mountain Dew to now you drink 20 ounces.
Right, in a sitting.
And then if you go and get like a soft drink at a gas station or a fast food place, I mean, they give you almost a third of a gallon.
32 ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
That's a quart.
Yeah. That's a lot of fluid. So I don't understand what the change in that whole philosophy was while we started drinking just so much of everything.
I just remember this study that I'm sure the bottled water companies put out that said Americans need to drink more water. You need to drink 8 ounces a day or something. And everyone's severely dehydrated, and it's so much better for your health if you just drink all this water. So
Right.
go drink all this water.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, I can put it in plastic bottles for you.
Right.
Here's, and the thing is, the plastic bottles, they haven't gotten bigger.
Mm.
You know, the bottles of water that you buy, they're still 12 ounces.
Oh, yeah.
Why aren't they 20 ounces like the Pepsis and the Mountain Dew?
Yeah, it's rare that you see a big water bottle.
They should be making big water bottles for us too. I don't know why they don't do that.
It's strange that to think that we buy water now.
I think we're just ranting. I think we're over iced.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you think we're over iced. I think we're over water.
Overwatered. I just don't remember drinking that much water. I like there was one point maybe I had a canteen.
Yeah.
But that was more for a show than actual.
Well, I remember backpacking, you know, and a kid, we had a water bottle, but I mean, it was kind of small.
Yeah.
It was kind of small. And now I'm probably hauling a gallon of water when I'm backpacking. And I have a filter and I got tablets and I'm so concerned about where I'm going to get my next drink of water on the trail.
I bet I pack a gallon of water.
Yeah.
I'm carrying a gallon of water easily because I'm between the water pack that you carry now, the Platypus or what's the other brand? Camelback. And then a couple other water bottles. Yeah, it's like I'm going to run out of water.
You're going to run out of water.
Yeah.
That was a big difference between the couple I went backpacking with when we hiked the Appalachian Trail, the whole Maryland section.
Yeah.
That was a big difference between them and me was the amount of water we carried. I carried much more water. Yeah. And their backpacks were much more lighter.
I carry a ton of water. And I've run out of water before. We've done some hiking in like August.
Well, here's the thing. I think we can carry out non-alcoholic beer now. It has calories and it's quite refreshing. Well, I don't know how it is when it's warm.
Yeah. And it doesn't have alcohol in it.
No one will look at you funny.
Yeah. Well, plus I think the alcohol dehydrates you. Doesn't it? I've always heard that. I don't know if it really does. I'd heard alcohol did that and caffeine did that. But the caffeine study apparently was done in the 1920s with a sample size of about 10. So caffeine being a diuretic is I think is what I've heard. Right. I don't know if that's true or not. Yeah, it's a diuretic.
But I think you should fact check that one. That's a good one to fact check.
So what do you carry on the trail normally to drink?
Water.
Flavored?
No, it's just water. Straight up water.
So I carry water and Tang.
Tang.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that in the past.
And that is getting harder to find.
I've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Especially in the morning. It's very nice in the morning.
Yeah. But it's just straight sugar.
It is.
Basically
and vitamin C.
Sugar.
And vitamin C.
It does have some vitamin C.
Yeah, it's got some, what's the acid that's vitamin C? Citric acid. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, it's just carrying a big bag of sugar with you. That's got a little vitamin C.
Ain't nothing wrong with that in the morning. You need that boost in the morning.
No. And plus, if you're drinking the iodine water, if you've done tablets.
You need to add that.
Yeah, it's worth it to have it. But you don't carry coffee with you or tea or anything?
Oh, I guess I do have instant coffee I have for the morning.
I wonder if they have dehydrated beer for backpackers. Or you can make like a little beer tasting drink.
That is interesting.
I've seen wine.
I would want a little carbonation though.
Yeah. I wonder if I can fake it.
Well, have you ever had that little medicine called Airborne?
Yeah.
Those are those effervescent tablets.
Yeah. It's got a little carbonation.
It puts a little fizz in the water.
We should make dehydrated beer.
Maybe a beer tablet.
Yeah. I bet you they make them. I bet once we finish the show, if we Google it, I bet there's beer tablets.
We'll have to check that out. If not, we're on to something.
That's true. You heard it here first. All right. It don't sound right, but you've come to the end of this taste testing that don't sound right.
Hey, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening. If this is your first time and enjoyed the conversation, would you consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with? Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating or leave us a review. Follow us on Instagram. Share us on your social media so others can join the conversation.
Yeah, we're posting at least once a week now on Instagram. So be sure you follow us on Instagram. All right, That Don't Sound Right is a production of TVSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter's your other host and your web designer. Camille's your barista. She made some treats for us tonight, some icing treats. Emily does our graphic design. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Britt is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.